Hi, this is the second part, which is really a separate video entirely. And I know I was supposed to, the last video was 50 some minutes long. I can't, it's hard to do short videos because it's not part of who I am. I feel like I gotta do a video until it's time to stop, and then my soul will tell me it's time to stop, so I stop. So it's time to go visit Legion. I'm not going to talk much about it because, like, when I'm connected to Jesus, for instance, I allow that energy to be connected with me because it's such a beautiful energy. And as I'm talking, I'm being influenced by the energy that's around me. So a lot of times you allow that message to continue until you're done. So, but I just want to go connect on to Legion and be done with it, so to speak. Because it's not a pleasant energy to be connected to. See your heart, it's beating like the actual inside of a body heart, but it's a very big heart and it beats. And then it's once this starts beating, all the other hearts in this cord of line, and this heart's connected to this cord, and this jet black roof of this place I'm at, it shoots straight out, and I see hearts beating, and they start to light up when they start to beat. And there was only one at first, and now there's hundreds, and now there's thousands of hearts beating simultaneously. And they start to beat really fast, and then they go ridiculously fast, and they instantly all stop at the same time, and everything goes jet black. And when it stops, there's like a liquid that forms, like these hearts bleed, they connect and they bleed out liquid into this one spot, which creates a pool, like tar. And that tar itself is, you could say it's sentient in itself, but it's almost an absence of light. And that tar goes down a drain. You could say it goes to a it bleeds out, and then it goes to move, and it moves towards this hole in the floor, and it goes down the hole. And it's meant to go down this hole. It's forced to go down this hole. And this happens for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. These hearts all go, the hearts stop, they bleed out, and they form this tar, which this tar goes down into a hole. The hole is now full of this black liquid, and it was gigantic. You'd say it was almost the size of a large city, and it's full right to the top now. It's miles and miles of tar, but it's full right to the top, and there's no more bleeding. So what happens is this tar, the hearts don't know this, and now this tar overflows into the chamber, and now it starts to go into these hearts, and these hearts are attached to people. No, not people. I say that's incorrect. It's beings. Very powerful beings, actually. You could say they're almost like gods themselves. So what's happening is this chamber is filling up, and this tar is starting to get closer and closer to the hearts. And the hearts start to notice this. but they've been doing the same thing time and time and time and time and time again. They're starting to try to figure out how to stop this process so the tar cannot touch the hearts. And I go and I'm going to above to find out what these hearts are attached to. It's really hard to do this though. And I come into a room that's full of light. And there's these beings that are here that are kind of looking at me. And it's the same thing, but they're there's this kind of like it's an oval chamber. And there's these beings that come here and they're asleep. But I look at each individual bed that's there. There's a heart. Is the heart of this being is beating, but the heart is separated from the being itself. It's still connected to the being, but it's underneath the being, and it's done this way to filter things from the universe, you could say. It filters this toxin out of the universe. But the problem is it's getting full and I'm not sure what to do. And these beings are all asleep. And they're not waking up because they've been here for a very, very long time. But they have a specific purpose. And the purpose is to help balance energy in this part of the universe. And they're sleeping and they can't wake up because this darkness is influencing into a dream state. Because normally they would be able to wake up, but this tar that once was supposed to just be residue has now have consciousness that is influencing these sleeping souls that are all sleeping. So I actually yell to wake them up, but they cannot hear any sound. There is an alarm going off, actually. You could say a sound that is vibrating, but they're still not able to wake up. And this darkness is coming creeper higher and higher and higher and getting closer and closer to their hearts. And the hearts continually do the same thing and filter the energy through them, from the universe through them into this place that was never supposed to fill up. Or if it was they were supposed to wake up, cap this off, deal with it in their own way. The problem is they cannot stop it. And this is how Legion was born, so to speak. And I'm not allowed to interfere with this because this is an event that is inevitable. It is going to happen, and it did happen. And I'm just witnessing it as a person viewing it. They're not allowing me to change it. So eventually the darkness touches the hearts. And these dark things, like the liquid actually floats up above to the surface and fills this auditorium up and pulls the souls down inside itself. And it's a black orb with these light souls that are inside it, that are trapped and inside this darkness, and they're never able to wake up. They're always asleep. But something changes, and the light that surrounds them is cracking, and these darknesses, because it's forcing down upon them, it's forcing until these light souls eventually get taken over by this darkness. And this, when this happens, the souls explode. Each one of them goes, like cracks, and explodes. They shatter. And when they shatter, all this blackness goes in between the fragments of their souls, never allowing their souls to be one. But then it allows them to all merge together, and it purposely moves all their pieces around this orb so they're in all different parts. So all the pieces aren't able to come together because they're separated and purposely separated. And now this being is formed that is a combination of many thousands of souls, of great light beings. You could say almost like, well, they were gods and archangels, and like they were extraordinary beings that took it upon themselves to take away to balance the universe, you could say. And this part of the universe fell into darkness and chaos. And Legion became Legion, and the ruler of this place, and a destructive force that wiped out everything that was alive in this part of the universe. And now it sends aspects of itself all over the universe to try to manipulate, twist the ideas of everything around them by whispering. That's what how Legion was formed, how it was shown. And there was light beings that came to try to help these other beings, but they were too late, because once they went into the darkness, there was nothing that could do to get them back. You could say that these beings tried to reach them, but it was too late. This all happened quite quickly in a scope of time. It wasn't thought, it never happened before. And it's like this specific energy from this part of the universe was different, in the sense that the tar was not supposed to be sentient, but was. It had a consciousness of many different beings. There's consciousness wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to just be like a negative energy with no consciousness to it. But because it had consciousness, it was able to manipulate these beings and keep them asleep into a beautiful dream that obviously changed when, and then that shattered. So then that's how Legion was formed. This is what I'm being told or shown. So how do you stop Legion from influencing you? By shining the light. Legion does not like light. Believe it or not. It's weakness. However, if you allow yourself to be taken over by Legion, it surrounds your light. Okay, what happens is it creates a barrier of darkness around you and traps the light within it. And when that happens, you can't access your light. So then you become something entirely different. You're still a human being, but you're like a zombie human being, because now you're in this dark energy is telling you what to do, what to say, how to act, and you don't have access to your light anymore, so you don't have access to your love within your heart. So your heart energy is snuffed out, and you're solely in your mind. Even your mind energy is dumbed down, and you become something, a shell of a person. But doesn't mean that you're stupid. It means that you're influenced by this being, because this being is far from stupid. And that's how Legion works. It slowly seeps its energy into you And then the more it actually creates its say like strings of darkness, eventually will completely encase you if you allow it to. But all you have to do is reject it and simply shine a light and continue to try to be the most loving person you can be. And when you do that, it forces it back. It actually won't even have anything to do with you. If your light's really strong in your soul, it completely ignores you, because it just goes after the weak. Because the weak still have light, and it somehow, when it forces that darkness around it, the light, when it eventually it fragments the light and it dims it. And it's really weird, because you shine really bright light, it makes it weaker and doesn't want to have anything to do with you. But if it slowly creeps in, your light starts to get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, to the point where it surrounds your light and then fragments your light and separates it, just like it did to the other beings in history. So that's, what are you supposed to do with that? So I already know you cannot heal Legion. Or maybe I can. I ask my higher self, is there anything I can do to help Legion to become, or allow these souls to be set free? I ask my higher self this question. He's pondering this, because it's not simply just rebounding, changing past. It is something that at this time in history, it's not the right time yet. Legion is sent here for a reason. Because either the human race will accept the suffering or not, or reject it. And things do get turned upside down, because when he has control, he flips the switch. And now he's in charge. And he's the one that manipulating people into believing what it is that they think is right or wrong. So Legion can appear to simply be a minor demon, but it's more of a greater god, you could say, of the darkness. And it actually works with other beings in order to accomplish its goal. He uses them. Because I'm telling you, the beings that created Legion were not simple beings. They created that aspect of the universe. So they were very close to God. So you could say that Legion in that part of the universe was the devil, was the dark one. So now that it's here, it is completely trying to do the same thing that it did in its own universe. And it's going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again until it's never going to be full. It's always going to take parts of itself to influence others and then devour that, and it's never going to be full. It's always wanting more and more and more and more and more. So for me to heal that, it's not that simple. It's almost like at this time, no one is going to heal. Because we have to reject this energy. And when we reject it, that's when the healing process will begin. Because nothing's been able to stop Legion. The only thing that can stop Legion is the world choice to be a good race. And other races have done this, and Legion just moved on to a different planet. It's very simple. You embrace love within your heart, and Legion won't win. But when you embrace Legion into your heart ceases to have any will. And won't have any will anymore. And you will become part of him and her and it. That's what I was meant to share with you. I don't need to go into any more detail because the simple fact is you to understand what it is that he is, or it is. And for you to understand that influences from these beings can simply be rejected by filling your own heart with love and understanding and no fear. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have a wonderful day, and one for Easter, one for holiday, doesn't matter. Thank you again for everything that you represent. And don't be afraid to be who you are, to stand up for what you believe in, and be the best person you can be right now, at this moment. And help as many people as you can in this life, but don't let them take advantage of you. Because when people take advantage of you, their best interest isn't at heart by allowing it to continue. Thank you very much.